Welcome into the Clearest Mud podcast with your host, Banana Grabber, and myself, Riveter.
What's up?
Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it. We had a little break last week because of the Thanksgiving and stuff. I was out of town. I don't know if we actually ever mentioned that or not. If we didn't, I apologize.
Yeah, we didn't.
But anyway, it was kind of a wild and crazy show episode last week, or 2 weeks now, I guess. If you missed it, make sure you go check it out. We had on Diva, Dave, and Nixie, Tare, celebrating
almost all of our former guests on the show.
Yeah, we celebrating our 1 year anniversary, which would not be possible without the chat. And like I said, we're very much appreciative of you guys and you subscribers and stuff. Before we
75 subscribers now.
Yeah. Before we get into this too heavily, I do want to make a personal plea. I would love, if possible, to get the subscriber count up to this channel to 100 before the end of the year. Now, some might say that's a tall order, but I don't think
that
it
is pretty tall.
Because I think we have some of the most loyal, supportive fans that we have. And I believe if they share out our podcast with their friends, I believe that we could. I believe we could get there. I 100% believe that we 100% can get there. To
we only need a third of our subscriber base to get one subscriber, and then we are there.
Yep, we're there. And I think that's a pretty good milestone for us to try to hit. If we were able to hit that would be great. And
for sure,
we would be very, very appreciative of that. I think it's safe to say that Banana and I both survived Thanksgiving. I am proud to say that I did not put on any weight because I was very, very cautious and careful in everything that I ate. I stayed away from all the desserts, stayed away from all the the starchy stuff like the dressing and potatoes and all that. And I mainly focused on just having turkey and some ham and very minimal things like that. I try to do my best because this time of the year it's so easy. And I'm already a big guy as it is, and then I'm trying to go the other direction. And this time of year, it's really hard because you have family members stuff that's always making really good stuff. They're always they're making freaking candies and stuff, and it's so damn good. And
yeah, I'm a sucker for green bean casserole. Like I'll take like 3 or 4 spoonfuls of that and throw it on my plate. I mean, I went insanely crazy this Thanksgiving. Yeah, because I've been eating nothing but like salad and shit for the past month or two.
And of course you're a little bit more active as far as when it comes to physical.
Well, now I am. I wasn't for like 3 years.
Well, yeah, you're running and stuff like that, right? So you're doing some stuff there, and I hope to get to the point where I'm not going to say running, but I hope to get to where I'm able to. Oh, damn this cord! Can walk. Without too much pain, because right now I have I don't know if it's like a sciatic nerve. I got sciatic nerve issues, but then I've also got something like if I walk too far or whatever, my hip just starts giving me fits. So
shit.
Anyway, but enough old man bitching and griping. But anyway, we did survive. Hopefully you guys all had a really good time, restful time with your family over the Thanksgiving holidays. We've got another holiday coming right around the corner. Christmas.
Or Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Or Kwanzaa.
Whatever.
Or whatever the Jehovah's Witnesses celebrate, which I think is nothing. I think they have their no holiday.
Whatever it is that you guys celebrate. Got that coming up as well. I will tell you now, I think it will be the 27th. Is that right? Is that the Sunday after Christmas, right? Isn't that right? 27th?
I don't know.
Right, so let me look right quick. So I'm not telling you.
Oh, and don't forget for the pagans, the winter solstice. Okay. You have to keep the pagans there. How you doing, Joey? How you doing, Zero Core?
Yeah.
Good to see you today.
The 26th, which is the Sunday after Christmas. Okay. That Sunday, I'm going to say we probably won't have a show.
More traveling.
Because no, I'm not going to be traveling. But I've got my sons and stuff coming in and other family members and stuff. And quite honestly, I think it would be better if, Banana, myself, you guys are more focused on spending time with your family and loved ones. So let's plan on not having a show that day.
Here.
But for the next couple of weeks, we will be having a show, and so we've got. And here's the thing, guys: there was so much news and stuff to cover that Banana and I were sitting here. We were like perplexed. It was a good problem to have, I feel, on what to cover and what not to cover and what to try to do and what have you. And so we've got a pretty, I would say, in my opinion, I think it's a pretty full show. And I think it's going to be covering a lot of stuff that is both YouTube related and real world, which is what,
got a nice mix of both.
The heart of, thank you for the tree there, Joy. I appreciate that. That's I helped a little bit, but very little. That's more my wife's doing than me.
See, I thought he was talking about the tree on the show with the one ornament.
Our little Charlie Brown tree.
Yeah, Charlie Brown tree.
Well, I listen. I got to finally watch Charlie Brown Christmas. I watched it yesterday.
You never seen it?
No, of course not. No. But they see Apple took over that they got copyright.
They own the rights?
Yeah, rights to it. Yeah.
Oh shit.
And so the only way that you can see it is if you have was it Apple Plus or Apple iTunes TV or whatever the hell it is.
Apple Play TV or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah, and so what happened was oh no, he's talking about my real tree. So okay. But
yeah.
No, anyway, so we the device we had that we used for streaming in the living room, whatever, went out on us. And so we had to go get something different. And so I decided to go with an Apple TV, mainly because I'd gotten my mom one, and just like every time she calls me, well, I couldn't tell her because I didn't have it in front of me, so I couldn't remember the menus and stuff. So I thought, well, hell, if I have the same thing, at least I'll be able to, help mom through whatever. So that's why I got it. But anyway, because I got a free subscription, 1-year subscription, because I bought it to their streaming service. So, yay me!
There you go.
And so I got to watch.
That's like my AT&T plan. Like I canceled my AT&T subscription, but it came with HBO whenever I signed up, and somehow I still have HBO. I probably should look into it. I'm probably losing money on that deal, but I don't know how I still have HBO.
Anyway, oh man! All right, so. What's on Apple TV? Ted Lasso's only show I know.
What's Ted Lasso?
I couldn't tell you, Joy. Honestly, I don't hardly ever watch. I think there was a couple of movies that were on there that I watched. One of them was a Tom Hanks World War II movie.
Saving Private Ryan.
No, it's where they were in those boats and they were trying to get the supplies over to England. And they had the U-boats, the German U-boats were sinking them and stuff, and they were on the destroyers protecting the convoy. I can't remember what it was. Grey Wolf, I think was the name of it, or something like that.
I've never seen it.
It's a really good movie, and it's based on historical events, and I tend to like movies like that.
Historical fiction.
Yeah. And speaking, and since we've kind of I'm gonna segue a little bit here. Since we're talking about World War II, news broke today that Senator Bob Dole had passed away. He passed away last night in his sleep. He was, according to the report, he was 98 years old.
98. That is nuts.
Yeah.
Talk about good genetics. Shit.
One thing to note here, right? He served the United States in one capacity or another. He was in World War II. He was a veteran of World War II. He was wounded in World War II, and that's why his right arm was in the way it was. He had very limited mobility in that right arm. He served the United States. Now, regardless if you agree with the man's politics or not, that's he served this country for 79 years. 79 years of service to the United States. So basically, from the age of 21 on, he was in service to the United States in one form or capacity or the other, and I think that's to be commended. I didn't always agree with Bob Dole's political stances or actions or what have you, but anybody that serves or takes up the mantle to serve, be it in the military or in the Senate, the House, whatever, president. I commend them for that because you're putting your life kind of on hold in a way, and so I appreciate that about that, and but anyway, our condolences.
Yeah, condolences to his family.
Yeah. So.
Good. No, 98 years old though. That's a good run right there.
Oh yeah. 100%. 100%. He's
to be honest, dude, the only reason I know about Bob Dole is because of a Family Guy bit where they were making fun of him. That's about it.
I know after he retired from the Senate, of course, he ran. He ran for the presidency in, I believe it was 96. I believe that's what that said.
I was 1 year old.
1996 when he ran for the presidency, and then subsequently after that he retired from the Senate, and he did a commercial for Viagra. And
oh no, are you serious?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh no, it's like Jimmy Johnson, the owner of the Cowboys, did the the coach. The coach of the Cowboys did the what were those like extends commercials?
Yeah. So, but this was back when Viagra was just kind of becoming a market.
Revolutionary technology.
Yeah, exactly. So
helping men everywhere.
Because I think I'm sure somewhat due to his age, and then of course other because he was, like I say, he was wounded in battle. I believe he has some issues.
Not only in battle, apparently.
I think he had some issues.
Apparently, also in sexual conquest.
A little ED, little ED there, and
we mean well. It's a joke. He's 98. Yeah. He can get roasted beyond the grave. He got it to 98. He'll be okay.
Oh yeah. So, but anyway, like I say, our condolences to his family and friends, and anyway,
I'm looking at the chat. I'm not laughing at his death.
Oh yeah, Stephanie. Yeah, she's right. It was a failed blood pressure medication that just had some
unintended
beneficial side effects for us men. So yay, team boner, right? So
there we go. Procreation, our go.
Yeah. So, oh man. So anyway, like I say, condolences to his family, whatever. But
here.
Anyway, so some of you guys may or may not know this next story we're going to talk about. Some of you guys may or may not have heard of this guy. His name is Chris Cuomo. We're going to be talking about Chris Cuomo. Now, Cuomo, whatever. He was a CNN. I don't know if he was an anchor or
he's a CNN dingus.
He had his own show. He had his own show where he. In my opinion, it was kind of more of a
opinion.
It was an op-ed type show. It was opinion based. He did cover news and stuff, but he covered it from a viewpoint of his opinion.
He's like Don Lemon. He's the same thing. is Don Lemon.
Okay, Don Lemon, or if you go over to
Bill O'Reilly.
Fox, Bill O'Reilly,
Tucker Carlson,
Tucker Carlson, things like that. So, I mean, I'm not throwing.
Reporting. It's more like, we're gonna give you a flavor of personality with opinion and that kind of thing. Fredo Corleone. Yeah, there you go, Joe. Yeah, I also watched Tim Dillon, by the way. I got the jacket on. He's quoting a comic.
Yeah. But like I say, I'm not saying that to cast stones. I'm just kind of putting in the proper context that that's what he did. And there's equal, people on the other side of the deal that do the same thing. So it is what it is. From me. But anyway, Chris Cuomo, who initially CNN suspended him, right?
Right.
But then last night it broke that they fired him.
And why was that?
Well, here's why. They fired him after a serious sexual misconduct allegation was made against him. And that's what Breaking 911 is reporting. The article it goes says CNN fired anchorman Chris Cuomo after a sexual misconduct allegation was made against him, an attorney stated Sunday. The news network had previously suspended Cuomo after it was revealed he'd used his work sources to dig up dirt on the women, accusing his brother, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, of sexual misconduct. Okay. So, anyway, so Attorney Deborah Katz, issued a statement this morning following CNN's termination of Cuomo. Now, one thing I want to note was and I don't have that article here in front of me, but in another article that I read, when CNN first became aware of these allegations, not the sexual harassment or sexual whatever this thing is, but just that he'd used his resources to help his brother, they went to an outside legal firm and hired them to come in and do a check, to do a whatever you want to call it, a study on or investigation into these allegations. To these allegations.
Yeah. Dicks.
Anyway, so with that being said, what happened was, when they dug into this, they found some more damning news. And that's when the sexual misconduct was brought forth. And so anyway, in a statement, this attorney, Deborah Katz, issued the statement. It says, in the wake of public sexual harassment allegations against former Governor Andrew Cuomo, Chris Cuomo looked directly into the camera and told viewers of Cuomo Prime Time, I have always cared very deeply about these issues, and profoundly so. I just wanted to tell you that subsequently the Attorney General released jaw-dropping documentary evidence demonstrating that Chris Cuomo played an active role in attempting to smear women from whom the Attorney General concluded had made serious allegations of sexual harassment and sexual misconduct against the governor. Hearing the hypocrisy of Chris Cuomo on-air words and disgust about his efforts to try to discredit these women, my client retained counsel and reported his serious sexual misconduct against her to CNN. Says on Wednesday, December on Wednesday, December 1st, 2021, I contacted CNN to report my client's allegations of misconduct against Chris Cuomo. By Friday, I was in discussions with CNN about providing documentary evidence of my client's allegations and making my client available for any interview with CNN's outside counsel. Last night, CNN acted promptly on my client's complaint and fired Mr. Cuomo. Anyway, that being said,
no, we can't be doing that. So,
well, here's the thing.
Well, here's what Joey says. He said, if my brother was a scumbag, I would step up and defend him. So I get it.
Okay, so I had a conversation with several different people, and this was back when he was just suspended from CNN, right? And here's what I'll say: if one of my brothers or something was facing these types of charges, 100%, you back family, right? But to what point do you back family, right? Do you back it to the point to where you engage in potentially illegal acts? Or do you just to the point where you say, okay, this is the line, this is the legal line where I can go, and I'm going to do everything I can, get the best type of representation, um, and so forth.
It also depends on what, like, one, well, his brother is the mayor of New York, and it depends on what he's been doing. Like if whatever he's hiding, whatever he's helping his brother get away with, could be something that the people of New York need to know to get him out of office, then that's a big problem.
Well, okay, just to correct, he was the governor.
What did I say?
Mayor.
Oh, sorry.
He was a governor. Well, that's fine.
Did I say mayor?
Yeah, it's a little bit. It can be a little bit. What do you call it? Confusing.
Who is the current mayor of New York City? Is it still Rudy Giuliani?
No, Lord, no. Rudy Giuliani's got his own problems because of Trump. Hey, Matt, how you doing?
What up, pit boss?
No, here's the my statement on this when I first heard about this was this, is
Bill de Blasio, right? Sorry, go ahead.
Is if Chris Cuomo would have contacted people that he knew that he'd made, and as a reporter, especially at that level, right? You're going to make friends, you're going to make contacts, you're going to make, whatever. So if he had reached out to these people on his own time at home and said, hey, listen, I want to hire you to investigate to whatever and pay it out of my pocket. This has nothing to do with CNN, whatever. I personally don't have a problem with that as long as it's done within the confines of what's legal, right?
Right.
Now, if you get into stuff where they're breaking the law, whatever, I got to say no, right? But so I understand 100%, backing your brothers but in this situation, what seems to have occurred is
he's using CNN resources.
Well, and as the statement from this attorney, I guess, that was representing this alleged victim, I'll use that terminology here. She came forward after by the statement on behalf of this attorney's client, the hypocrisy of Chris Cuomo. And that's the thing that has always just baffled me, right? There always seems to be there's a stance, I guess, if you will, where if there is somebody who is of a conservative nature, right, or a belief is they have an ideology of conservatism or Republican type of leanings, sure. If they're ever alleged to have engaged in any type of, quote, sexual misconduct, the left is so quick to want to burn them at the stake, right? But like in this situation here with Cuomo, his brother Andrew, who had all these allegations, woman after woman after woman after woman came forward alleging sexual misconduct on his part against him. They were defending this man with everything. They were just. So it just always astounds me,
Chris, I agree with Stephanie. She said, I remember Chris on 2020 and always just call him a dummy. He's dumb. He always has been completely unaware and uninterested in doing his job properly. He just likes to spout off nonsense and whatever emotional, argument he has in his head at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of guy Chris Cuomo is. So it's the whole part of and obviously, like we said earlier, just so people don't get twisted, because now we live in a day and age where we have to do like a 10-minute explanation for a 5-minute conversation. Yeah, it exists on both sides, but he's one of those party sycophants that just goes, I'm gonna spout off whatever I want, regardless of what actuality is. So I'm not too upset to see him being hoisted by his own petard.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing, like, you know, because the right did do this a little bit too. Like they both do it whenever it comes to whoever's in power. Like with Trump, you know, you'd had the evangelicals going, well, God picks people who are flawed, and it's just like that kind of stuff back and forth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, what I'll kind of expand a little bit, because I felt like I didn't really continue my thought earlier. You're right. No, you're fine. And this was just something that kind of came to me was, you're right. Both sides do it, right? They both sides will defend their person or whatever, right? But what seems like to me, and maybe this is just my bias coming out, and if it is, so be it, right? But it seems like to me, you have people like, you know, Andrew Cuomo, when these allegations were made against Trump about some of the comments that he made, which were inappropriate, about grabbing women by, you know, their anatomy, different parts of their anatomy, and things like that, calling for his, calling for him to be roasted at the stake, as it were, or whatever.
Well, they were telling him to drop out of the runnings.
Yes, exactly.
That was before he got elected. Yeah, they were like, well, he needs to resign, or whatever it is. The word is. But
then you have all these women come forward, far more than whatever, you know, and there was never any women that really came. Well, you have Stormy Daniels. Yeah, but she was okay.
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Okay. So he had an affair with this woman. She was paid off to keep her quiet, whatever, right? I mean, it was two adults in a consenting relationship that she exploited to get money out of a rich man. Whatever. I don't give a shit. It wasn't a deal where Trump was being inappropriate with her. Does that make sense? I mean, you could still look at it as scuzzy or scummy, whatever, and I don't have a problem with that, whatever.
What does that mean? He wasn't being inappropriate.
He was not forcing himself. He was not putting forth I mean, like you had these women who were coming against Andrew Cuomo, and they were saying that he was okay. He was. So
you're saying he paid for solicited ads?
Sex. Yeah, he paid for sex. I don't give a shit.
But
whatever.
He didn't.
He wasn't going up. He wasn't just going up and fondling women. And it not being a.
Well, I imagine he's the type of guy that might have in his time, but
okay.
Sure, for sake of argument.
Fine. Let's say
for sake of argument, sure.
Yeah, let's say he did, but there was none that came forward, is what I'm saying, right? Does that make sense?
I can't remember any either. Yeah. I guess so.
But we had all these, anyway. I don't want to get down that rabbit hole per se, but
why would any man cheat on Melania? She's so beautiful.
I agree with Joy, right? Why? But whatever.
They get bored, I guess. They're like the top of the food chain.
You know, men who get to that level of power and place in the world, they do stupid shit because it's never enough. The woman can never be enough. The woman can never be pretty enough or whatever. It's just they're stupid.
Well, it's not even that. It's just a conquest. It's
shit.
Searching out for new.
But anyway, it's just I just
unexplored territory as a pioneer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But you know, when you have these people like Chris Cuomo and like you mentioned earlier, Don Lemon, who come out and make all these holier than thou statements about type stuff. And
before you say that, I was telling you last night, I don't even remember where Don Lemon came out of. He just kind of appeared on the political scene. Not that long ago.
I mean, I don't care. I mean, whatever. The dude.
I just think it's an interesting thing. I just think it's interesting. I don't remember where the guy came from.
Yeah, well, but and now they're both, Chris has had these charges levied against him. He's lost his job, and now we have these charges or these allegations as being levied against Don Lemon as well.
Don Lemon.
So anyway. We may follow up on that once more stuff come out of it on Don or whatever, or if there's any type of actual criminal charges that are. Andrew Cuomo does actually have criminal charges pending against him. I don't know if there's. I don't think any to date against Chris, his brother, and I don't know about Don. But anyway, so moving along, because that's enough of that nonsense.
Well, real quick,
Yeah,
final note on that is Tucker Carlson's hair fake? Because it looks so fake, but I think it is real.
I think him and Donald Trump use the same hairstylist.
They use the same hair.
Oh, yeah. Got it out.
They got the same magical hairstylist,
Yeah.
the one that makes it look real. Yeah, he just. But I think his hair is real. It just looks like a toupee. It's weird.
Well, possibly. I mean, whatever. Yeah. I mean, again, it's so. This next story, we're going to go and talk about our the one that it's kind of like that show Everybody Hates Chris.
Everybody hates Ethan.
Everybody hates Ethan. So Ethan Kline stuck his little wormy head back up, and
of the H3H3 podcast.
The H3H3 podcast, yeah. So, some of you may or may not be aware of that back earlier this year, Jake Paul was in a boxing match. I can't remember who was boxing against, but anyway, it was one of those where it was the one where the YouTubers were going against the what was it, the TikTokers, yeah. Anyway, he was boxing someone in this one, or whatever.
I think Joey would know. Joey, if you know, type in chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
But anyway, it was being I guess you would say produced or carried or distributed or whatever by this company called Triller.
Right.
Anyway, Ethan.
The Triller is the media conglomerate that pushes their brand.
Yes. But anyway, Ethan.
Ben Askren. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. So anyway, Ethan. Do we say allegedly if he admits to it or?
Oh, and it wasn't the TikTokers versus YouTubers. It was a different event.
Oh, was it a different event? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that correction, Matt.
Appreciate it.
But anyway, Ethan Kline illegally watched the boxing event, and so as with most of those events, there's a lot of piracy that does go on. But anyway,
right. There's a mirror stream, like a website will host the stream on their link.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure that's what Ethan was watching it on was a mirror.
Yeah, yeah. It was. He was irrespective. You want to call it piracy? You want to call it whatever.
Stealing.
He was stealing he did not pay for the rights to watch the boxing match, and so he put a tweet out saying, "Apparently, I'm being sued by Triller." Let me bring this up here. So, and this is coming from the archive that is Bo Black's. Right. If you need history on shit, Bo Black's is the website, is the YouTube channel.
Got you covered.
Bo Black's in all of his greatness. He archives tweets. He archives video. He archives everything. God bless him. I don't know how the man has time for all this. I'm sure he has people that help him or whatever, but golly, he just
the power of Asperger's.
But it appreciates him.
I do too.
Because it helps people like me do shows like this. But anyway, he put out this tweet, says, because apparently I'm being sued by Triller, news to me, especially considering I did not rebroadcast it or pirate it. What? Okay. So I'm going to...
This is the first time that they filed a lawsuit too.
Yeah. So anyway, then people, as Bo Blacks points out, people were real quick to point this out to Ethan, and you may hear a little bit of Bo Blacks here. But anyway, again, all these, everything we always use will be in the VOD afterwards with links stuff, so you go watch it, verify stuff yourself, so that you can double check our work. But anyway, here's what did
it. But I don't know why the ref called it. I just found that the obscene.
You know what?
I waited
I felt that
fucking long for that.
You watched?
I watched the whole. I bootlegged it. I pirated it. 1.5 million pay-per-view orders. I didn't pay for that shit. I almost did, but Ian came through with the link. Daddy.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna play cool.
You didn't do anything wrong.
I didn't do anything.
Ian, you sent
I
me the
don't know
link. Come
what
on.
I'm
You had like
doing.
backups and backups and backups. I was like, this
That
one's not
wasn't
working.
me.
I'm going to buy it. You're like, hold strong. You sent me
Don't
one that
think that was
worked.
me.
So since he was called in such
He was mad. You can see it on his face. He's like,
Oh,
"Are you
yeah.
seriously saying this live? You fucking idiot!"
He outed him, right? He 100% outed him.
Yeah, he's trying to
Okay.
throw him under the bus.
Exactly. So anyway,
But yeah, and I'm pretty sure we covered this on the on a past episode as well. Whenever it was actually breaking at the time.
no, I'm pretty sure we did too. But anyway, so the guy that's I don't know exactly where he stands as far as in the
Oh, is that Jessica Pickles?
yeah. I don't know exactly where this guy stands in the chain of command as far as Triller, but his name is what? Hang on.
Kavanaugh.
Yeah, Kavanaugh.
Ryan Kavanaugh, is that what his name is?
Yes, Ryan Kavanaugh, correct. Anyway, so there's been a third lawsuit now that has been filed against H3. And so H3 had this to say on a recent podcast.
Support on this, because I'll tell you what, last night I was fucking feeling bad. I was worried. I couldn't sleep, and I just felt like sometimes it just feels like I'm alone in it. Like the last time there were so many people involved that this time coming here and seeing more people and seeing all you guys supporting me, the amount of support I saw in, like, when the third lawsuit was filed on the subreddit was like all about the lawsuit, and I was like, I felt much better this morning. I feel much better this morning seeing all the support. So thank you guys so much, man.
Whoa.
Keep the memes hit the.
So anyway, and he's got some donos there or what have you, but
Yeah,
you know,
third time they filed the lawsuit.
yeah. So
The first time it was just filed really incorrectly, according
Yep.
to like people like Emily Baker. She was saying it was like whoever
Yep.
filed this lawsuit was
Yeah.
either grossly incompetent or she didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
As to why they were choosing to file it the way that they did.
correct. And so anyway, this is the third attempt at whatever filing this lawsuit. And here's the thing. Ethan Kline is was fair use or whatever, because he used because he had a podcast where he had some clips or whatever of the fight in a subsequent podcast. Okay. And here's one thing I will say, because we ourselves we've had issues with this ourselves, right? Where we use some excerpts from a press conference for an upcoming MMA fight between Hasbullah and I don't remember the other dude's name, but
Abdu.
Anyway, and they claimed our video. We filed an appeal. They came back and did a flat out a strike on us then, and
Yeah, it was Media Cube.
yeah. And so anyway, there's always been this thing about sporting events and stuff that
Off limits.
it's off limits. I don't
That's
agree
what
with
Tommy
that.
was saying.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
during the time, Tommy was retelling his account of like
Yeah.
trying to show sports clips from the
Yes.
NHL,
Yeah.
the hockey season, saying how he basically just could not get away with it ever.
No.
So it really killed his hockey stuff.
And I don't agree with it. I think you should be able to use clips of it. I don't think you should be able to just rebroadcast the entire damn,
Well, that's the problem.
game.
That's the crux of the argument, because Ethan is
Yeah.
he was convinced for whatever reason that he could show. Here's the thing, though. He did. I don't think he broadcast the entire fight.
No.
But the problem is, and I don't know if it's legally a problem, but it is a problem nonetheless. He had the link to the mirror site in the stream, visible for the audience to see. So if they wanted to, they could copy that link and go watch it.
The problem, okay, so I would be a little bit more in Ethan's corner on this if he had just used some excerpts or whatever of the boxing match as part of his podcast, whatever. No problems for me. No, I would be in his corner on this, just like it was before when they went under they had the whole FUPA, right? Okay.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Because as I was telling you the other night, FUPA originally was supposed to continue past the one lawsuit against Matt Haas.
Yes.
Now, had he continued to keep FUPA a thing for other YouTube creators and content creators, including himself, by the way, it would probably have money in the account to help him with this problem.
Yep.
So it's kind of a funny, ironic situation that he has put himself in due to his own stupid actions. And he doesn't want to hear about FUPA or anything like that. Well, I would imagine it'd be pretty painful right now, considering if you had been honest and not lied about, keeping that active, then yeah, you wouldn't be in this shit.
Well, and
or as much shit.
Okay, but here's the problem. Okay, and here's where he loses this. He pirated the broadcast.
Yeah,
he admits to pirating it. Okay,
and that's like $100,000 for one, right?
I don't know. I'm not going to get. I don't know. I can't. I'm not going to speak to that because I don't know what the legal ramifications of it are. All I'm going to say is the man, on multiple occasions with his own mouth, said I pirated the fights.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. Don't come to me hollering about how you feel that you're by yourself and that you have no one backing you and stuff. And you feel like you didn't have the support like of the community. Well, okay, this is the same jackass that declared a nuclear war against Keemstar on this platform, right?
Not just Keemstar, other creators on YouTube.
Yes.
And other influencers and tried to directly targeting their sponsors.
100%. 100%. He went after, let's see, him and Trisha Paytas, they went after Shane Dawson, they went after David Dobrik. They went after James Charles. They went after what's his name? Jeffree Star. So and targeting all these people. So I'm sorry, dude.
Reap what you fucking sow, dickhead.
You reap what you sow, and if you wonder why the community doesn't back him anymore, that's why. You have become the very thing that you used to rail against.
Here's the shittiest part about it. It's like he's doing the wrong thing and then going, well, why aren't you guys supporting me? Don't you know fair use is on the line? But you're the one abusing fair use to try and harm other creators, and then going, well, why are they targeting fair use? It's like they wouldn't be had you not been, writing the lines so crazy. Also, I like what Joey Westside says. He says, imagine living in a Beverly Hills mansion and not paying $20 for a fucking live stream.
Right.
Steffi says, it's so messy. I hope it goes to court so we can get answers for next time. They can afford to buy answers. Yeah, they can. They live in a fucking giant mansion in Beverly Hills, like Joey just said. Anyways, I have to piss real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. So anyway, while you're doing that, recently, Augie RFC was covering the whole Triller and Ethan, because Ethan did, there was this narrative that was being put out back when Ethan got a 7-day ban or whatever on off of Twitch and YouTube, or I guess off of YouTube was where he was streaming at, was on YouTube. He got like a 7-day ban on it or whatever. Couldn't stream or whatever. And he blamed Keemstar, and everybody thought it was because, Keemstar did put up that Twitter video where he was tagged, he mentioned, YouTube, and he tagged, her name Susan Wojcicki and all that. And everybody, myself included, was suspected that, that's probably what happened, that because, Keemstar had made that video, that's probably why he come up. But then it comes out that this guy from Triller,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This guy, Kavanuagh from Triller, came out and flat out admitted to that he was the one that had gotten Ethan suspended for 7 days. And so now Ethan is changed his story to where he's saying that Kavanaugh's trying to get him banned off of YouTube, trying to get him banned off of Twitch and everything else. And but he goes on to say that he believes that Keemstar is in leagues with Triller.
Yeah, it's a league of extraordinary idiots.
Exactly. And so anyway, so Augie was covering this the other night, one of his in his live streams that he does. Anyway, Keemstar called in, and Keemstar had this to say, and I think it's kind of interesting.
All right, is my audio good?
Yeah, your audio's great.
You're good.
Okay. So it's interesting.
Okay, so here's where I was talking about. This is the tweet where he says where he suspects Keemstar is working with Ryan Kavanaugh to get his channels banned to weaken fair use and stifle free speech and so forth. And so, not to say I'm just talking out my butt. There's evidence out there to all this, right?
Because the way I understand it, and I didn't see the clip myself, but just other people told me that H3H3 said on his show that basically he no longer thinks I'm the reason he got a strike. He thinks Ryan Kavanaugh is the reason. And then later, the next day, I guess he puts out a tweet saying that I'm working with Ryan Kavanaugh to take his channel down and stop free speech. And, you know, it's all strange. But look, at some point I have to address this, right? Because I actually am doing business with Ryan Kavanaugh. Like, I'm doing business with him on something that has nothing to do with H3H3 that the world is going to find out about, right? Like, I am actively doing business with him. And so when this comes out that I am working with him and I am doing some business with him, I think H3H3 is going to be like, see, I told you they're working together, but I really have nothing to do with this lawsuit.
Okay, so, Keemstar is saying, yeah, he's got some business. And Banana and I were talking about this other night and stuff, and to us, it's easy. It's easy to deduce what this is about. Keemstar and Fousey2 has started this boxing promoting organization or company, whatever you want to call it. And since Triller does all these boxing, events, things like that, it's not a limb I don't think to go out on too far. To say that they're going to partner up to do some events and stuff together. I think that's probably a logical.
I think it's reasonable.
Yeah, I think it's a logical assumption.
I mean, they've been teasing it on social media quite a bit, saying like Keem's saying that, me and Fousey are like brothers and shit. Now I don't know, that's not a direct quote. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but like it's stuff like that leads you to believe they're going to push something marketing wise.
Oh yeah, and so anyway, but again, this will give the thing of it is I also
wouldn't be surprised if Keem owns a portion of Triller in some way, or if he's some kind of advisor to their company. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. It's literally just speculative comment by me.
Stephanie says, I believe Keemstar is just smart enough to have actual involvement in the suit.
That's too much it's too much dirt back on him. I mean, what would be the profit for him to be involved? Because it could blow back on him too much, you know?
One of the things that is cited in this lawsuit, and that's what was shared by Ethan, in that tweet, was a segment or section of that lawsuit where it says Kline's content is deliberately offensive, provocative, and inflammatory. Frequently, he mocks and harasses other social media personalities to attract attention and entertain viewers. For example, in August 2021, the YouTube suspended Kline for 7 days for violating its harassment policy, for posting content that degradingly sexualized the 20-year-old girlfriend of another YouTuber content creator, Daniel Keem. This occurred during an episode of the H3 After Dark, in which Kline had someone call into his show pretending to be Keem's girlfriend. who said that Keem cries during sex and has a small genitalia. So, anyway,
Kind
you know, here's the thing. Do I have a problem with Ethan busting Keem's balls and making fun of him? No, not at all. I mean, it's comedic, whatever.
He's a public figure. He can be parodied.
Yeah, I could give a shit less, right? The problem that comes into play in this is that YouTube has a policy against it,
which is a stupid policy. But it's already taken one creator off the platform, so now we have to.
Yeah, so I mean, if
run to the standard,
if you're in for a pound, you're in for if you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound, as they say, right? So.
Yeah,
you can't back up off that stance. So
that's what everyone was saying too at the time. Is all these stupid ass subjective rules are going to be applied subjectively without with bias. It's not going to be applied evenly across the board.
100%.
So anytime, so the people that they favor in the space, they'll be allowed to do literally whatever they want. But the people that are a problem, who pose a problem, they will have to play the safest ball possible, or else they'll be taken off the website. Case in point, Leafy.
Yep.
Case in point, Gokinaru's video where he had an artistic expression of a mock execution, which was clearly satirical, or not even satirical. It was just art an artistic metaphor, and that didn't fly because Ethan got upset about it, and he made a big fuss, and then somebody at YouTube, which on paper the two events are not correlative. They don't have any. There's no suggestion that Ethan called YouTube and had them remove the video, but during the same time, those two things happened, which was Gokinaru's video taken down and Ethan crying about it.
The thing that's amazing to me is, and examples of how it's not, their policies are not equally applied, right? Like over the last week, I don't know how many times I saw people engaged in conversation with Twitter about their videos being taken down because of sexual content, or
I mean, dude, like
whatever else, right? But if
look at my account, look at my account. Again, like I say this all the time, but I can't stress it enough. Antifa, ISIS, terrorist groups like have freaking Twitter presences. My account gets deleted because of a few risky jokes. Granted, they're bad taste, horrible taste. They didn't land. They crossed the line. However, I'm not beheading people. So
but what I was talking about was specifically, my statement is addressed towards YouTube.
You said Twitter though.
Did I? Okay, if I did, I misspoke. I'm talking about YouTube. So YouTube has this policy about sexual content on the channel, on their platform, right? And so over this last week, I cannot tell you how many times on Twitter where I've seen people engaging and talking to YouTube on Twitter about their videos being taken down because of sexual content or being labeled sexually inappropriate, whatever. And then if you go on there right now, it's not hard. You can find videos where women are completely and totally nude.
Oh yeah.
And you can see everything that God gave them in high def, 4K, baby.
What's the one you showed me where the boyfriend was sticking a dildo up his other
they didn't actually show that. They just showed the act of it. Okay, fine enough.
Camera.
I understand that, but I'm telling you, there's actual videos that shows women's vaginas in full display. Their breast and they're completely and totally nude, right? So
that's for the children.
Yeah, well, how the hell? And it's not age. I mean, it's Jesus.
No, it's not age restricted. It's informational. I have to point out the chat here because it's hilarious. Steffi says, "Well, don't worry, Keem. I stuck up for you in the lawsuit. We told them about your penis." End quote.
Oh God.
Maybe the lawyer just hates Keem and wants to shit on him a little. It's a possibility.
Yeah, possibly.
A lot of silly.
Anyway. All right. So if there's any more, once there's some actual things taken care of as far as on the lawsuit and stuff with we'll come back and cover this again. I'll just tell you right now, don't be shocked or surprised if when this announcement comes out between Keemstar and Triller that it's something to do with the company that Keem and FouseyTube has created, and it's going to be some emceeing or cross promotion or something to do with some sort of boxing match, something like that. I have no doubt in my mind at all. So anyway, moving on to our last story for the day. Now I'm going to give you guys a fair warning on this one. We're going to be talking about Alec Baldwin. We're going to be talking about what happened on the Rust movie set. You may hear some things that could possibly, to some people, could be, I guess, I don't like using the word triggering, but could be upsetting or things of that nature. So I'm giving you fair warning now. If that's not something that you don't want to hear or being discussed.
Well, we are in a bubble. I think they know that by now.
Well, I understand that, but I do, even though I'm a grumpy old asshole on the internet, I still like to try to be somewhat respectful of people's
You're more respectful
feelings.
than I am.
Well, yeah.
I'm an asshole.
Yeah, but I'm a respectful asshole.
Oh, there you go.
But anyway, just kind of give you a little bit of a heads up. All right.
Yeah.
So to kind of briefly recap, there was a movie being shot. It was a independent film called Rust. It was starring Alec Baldwin.
Oh, just wait, Joey. We know that too. We're about to show you some shit. Go ahead.
Anyway, Alec Baldwin was the main star, celebrity, whatever you want to call it.
He's a producer as well.
He was a producer of the show. Yes, he was.
Which means he's part of management in a sense, or how things get decided, right?
Well, he recently did an interview with George Stephanopoulos, I guess, whatever his name is.
A Greek interview.
Yeah, he did an interview, and anyway, he said he was
It used to be
producer.
Meet the Press. Y'all are familiar with Meet the Press back in the day. George Stephanopoulos was the host.
And before that, he was the press secretary for Bill Clinton.
Yes.
But anyway, they were in this interview. He says that his role as producer was basically hiring people and that type of stuff, finding people suitable for whatever. But anyway. So he sat down. The full interview is almost an hour in length. The full interview is available on YouTube. The video that I'm going to reference today for my position on this is a segment of that they put out, and like I say, it will be linked in the description down below. But anyway, this segment they're talking about the moment in time when all this happened. Now,
the moment of the shooting.
Okay. Now, before we go into all this, I will give you. I have been around weapons all my life, even at a young age.
Yep. Same here.
I was taught by my father to respect a gun, and a gun is a tool, just like anything else. Okay, a hammer, a screwdriver, a saw, a drill. It's a tool, and you have to have respect for it, and you have to use it properly, and you have to know what you're doing with it. Otherwise, you can hurt yourself. You can hurt somebody else. All right. Now, I've had multiple conversations over the last several days. I've had conversations with people from other countries that don't necessarily subscribe to the Second Amendment that resides here in the United States, and the belief that people should just be able to have weapons or so forth. And that's fine if that's a person's belief. I won't argue that. You're entitled to your beliefs. So that's just kind of giving a little bit of a little background of where I'm coming from. So when I discuss these things, I'm going to be coming from this from a standpoint of how I was raised and the knowledge and training that was passed down to me, not only from my father, but my grandfathers. Okay. So this was a generational thing that was passed down to me. So this was not something that was just, in passing, as it were. Sure. So the first thing I'm gonna do is we're gonna cover here to this interview. Now I'm gonna go into this. I'm gonna be up forth in front with you guys as well. I do not like Alec Baldwin. I do not think he is a good human being. I think he is a hypocritical asshole. So I want to be forth. I want the playing field clear here, so that when I come from this and people come, viewers in the chat or people come later on and say, "Well, Riv is just being hypocritical and he came in, he's biased." No, I'm admitting I am biased. I don't like him. I think he's an asshole. So we're going to get that out on the table front and foremost, okay? But I'm still going to try to do my best to approach this from a standpoint of what I was taught as far as what proper safety is.
Right.
So let's listen to this. And this is probably going to, by the way, get us claimed, but whatever.
Who gives a shit at this point?
I'll fight it just like I do every damn thing else.
The marking rehearsal where I'm going to show her. She's standing next to the camera. She's like this. You're me. She's got a monitor here. The camera is here filming that way. She takes a monitor that is his monitor, the operator, and turns it toward her. It swivels, and she says to me, "Hold the gun lower. Go to your right. Okay, right there. All right, do that. Now show it a little bit lower." And she's getting me to position the gun. Everything is in her direction. She's guiding me through how she wants me to hold the gun for this angle. And I draw the gun out, and I find a mark. I draw the gun out, I find a cut. And what's really urgent is the gun wasn't meant to be fired in that angle.
So if you're shooting directly into the camera lens, you're not aiming?
I'm not shooting into the camera lens. I'm shooting just off.
Just off?
Right, in her direction. I'm holding the gun where she told me to hold it, which ended up being aimed right in below her armpit, was what I was told. I don't know. This was a completely incidental shot, an angle that may not have ended up in the film at all. But we kept doing this, and so then I said to her, now in this scene.
Okay, so the first thing, I'm gonna pause here for just a second. So based off of that, Banana, so far, is there anything that you've heard that gives you pause?
Nope.
Okay. The first thing gives me pause is the fact that he's pointing a gun in the direction of people. I was told flat out and simple, you never point a gun.
Well, he has to for the shot.
Then you know what you do? You set up the shot a different way so you're not pointing it at people.
That's fair. Fair point.
Okay. That's all I'm going to say on that. I was always taught you never ever point a gun, loaded, unloaded.
Unless you're planning to kill that person. Yeah, I was taught the same thing.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So we're on the same boat. So
we're in agreement. We're in agreement.
All right. So Joyce says, sounds like he's shifting blame.
Joey, you are very perceptive.
Yes. I would agree with your analogy. So
he has
far,
a lot to lose
yeah.
right now. He has to be very, very careful about what he says and how he says it.
Okay.
And I'm going to cock the gun. And I said, "Do you want to see that?" And she said, "Yes." So I take the gun and I start to cock the gun. I'm not going to pull the trigger. I said, "Do you see that?" She said, "Well, just cheat it down and tilt it down a little bit like that." And I cock the gun. I go, "Can you see that? Can you see that? Can you see that?" And she says, and then I let go of the hammer of the gun and the gun goes off.
Okay. So at this point, when I'm listening to this and his description, what's going on, and he says he's pulling the hammer and he pulled the hammer back, he cocked the gun, he put what? To me, okay, again, when you say you cock a gun, I understand with the understanding that this was for a Colt 45 revolver. Okay, this is a period weapon from the 1800s. It's a Colt 45. It's for the Western that was being shot. Which means if it had to pull back the hammer, it is a single action revolver, right? You have to pull back the hammer, you cock it, puts it in the firing position. You squeeze the trigger, the hammer would be released, and then it would discharge, whatever was in the chamber, right?
But coincidentally, if you pull the hammer back and let go, what happens?
Okay. But he says here, I cocked it. I cocked the gun. To me, that vernacular, that verbiage means that he pulled it back until it was in the cocked position, right?
Right.
Okay. So at that point, I'm listening to what this man's saying, and I'm pausing and I'm going through this and I'm dissecting this.
But he didn't pull the hammer back all the way. So no, it wasn't.
Okay, but we're not there yet.
Okay.
You're kind of jumping a little bit. He says he's cocked the gun. So to me, I'm thinking, okay, if he pulled the hammer back and he cocked it, right? That's what he said. That's the word he used, was he cocked the gun. Okay. When he let off of the hammer, the gun went off. So to me, I'm thinking, okay, at this point, this could be a faulty gun. And when he pulled the hammer back, it didn't lock. And so therefore we have it would be a discharge, a faulty discharge. And so, okay, so I could see that. Or B, when he pulled it back, he has his finger on the trigger in the depressed position, which means that there was nothing there to lock the hammer into place. And so it immediately just, was be able to be released, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That was my two thoughts at that point. That's possibly what could happen. But there's going to be some more information that we're fixing to hear here, guys, that proves that that's not what happened.
I let go of the hammer, the gun goes off.
At the moment, the decisive
That was the moment the gun went off, yeah. That was the moment the gun went off.
It wasn't in the script for the trigger to be pulled.
Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them. Never. That was...
Okay. He would never point a gun at somebody and pull the trigger. However, he just previously stated that he was pointing the gun in their direction, under the direction of the cinematographer. Okay, I'll give him that. But he was still pointing it at people, right?
Yeah.
Let's keep it real here, guys.
Was the training that I had. You don't point a gun at me and pull the trigger. On day one of my instruction in this business, people said to me, never take a gun and go click, 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 because even though it's incremental, you damage the firing pin on the gun if you do that. Don't do that.
And he's right.
Yeah, the music is over the top. Steffi says, really appreciate the music. Great film, ABC. Oh yeah, this is a production.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Make no mistake about it. But yeah, so he's talking about, do have damage the fire pin.
He's correct. He's correct. You do not, that's called dry firing a weapon. You don't do that. You dry fire a weapon. That's how you foul the firing pin. You don't do that. He's 100% correct on that.
And Hall's attorney told ABC News that he was watching and agrees that Alec did not pull the trigger and that his finger was outside the trigger guard.
That is very important to listen to, guys, because now they have other witnesses there that say that Alec Baldwin's finger was outside the trigger guard, was not inside the trigger guard. So therefore that means that he was not depressing the trigger. That's important. So when he says Matt
Pitt says either he didn't pull the hammer back all the way or he did, but the mechanism that keeps it cocked broke.
Exactly, Matt. That's what I was saying. That was where I was at with this. Okay. So listen to this next part. This is where it's key.
Okay. So you have this Colt 45. You just pulled
the hammer as far back as I could without cocking the actual.
Let's play that again as Diva says, as our good friend Diva says, and the people in the back. And I want you to listen to what he says here, guys.
Your guard.
So you have this Colt 45. You just pulled
the hammer as far back as I could without cocking the actual.
And you're holding on to the hammer.
I'm holding that. I'm just showing. I go, how about that? Does that work? You see that? Do you see that? She goes, yeah, that's good. I let go of the hammer. Bang.
He pulled it all the way back without cocking it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's all the video that I'm going to show. That's all we need to show for my argument. So now here brings the thing. And Banana and I had a conversation last night, and I'm not going to lie, it got a little contentious, a little contentious between us.
A little bit.
Okay. Now, my statements are this. From a legal standpoint, strictly law, this is strictly as the law as I understand it.
Right.
Okay. He could possibly face involuntary manslaughter. Does it matter if he cocked it or not? Yes, it does matter, Tara. It 100% does matter. The reason why it matters is because he says he pulled the hammer all the way back, but not until it cocked. If you don't pull it all the way back into the cocked position, then the hammer is not locked into that, because for the lack of a better word, it's kind of a safety, right? When you lock it back, it holds it in that position. So until you squeeze the trigger, it releases the hammer to fall forward or to spring forward, because it's under a spring, and it will spring forward and it will hit and it will discharge the weapon. Okay.
There are a number of other things too that need to be said before we make our arguments that give more context to what happened here.
Okay.
One being there was a live round in the gun. It wasn't a blank. It was an actual bullet, because
Yes.
they pulled a bullet out of the assistant's director. Is that what his name was?
He was the director of the film.
The director of the film, the guy, they pulled a bullet out of his shoulder. And so there was a live round that was not supposed to be anywhere near the set. There was never supposed to be live rounds on the set, anywhere near the set. Now they contacted the people who supplied the rounds to them, and it was ABC. ABC contacted them, and they said they check every round, rattle test every round before they send an entire box of dummy rounds out.
Yeah.
So that means they check the box 50 times, because it's a box of 50.
Yeah.
So the arms manufacturer, whatever you want to call it, that sent them the ammunition, they maintain that there's no way that they could possibly gotten bullet live rounds from them to the armorer. So that being said, something happened between the armorer or something. Somebody brought live rounds onto the set.
Yeah.
And now there's a murder investigation.
Yes.
That's another thing.
Yes.
Whenever he was handed the weapon, it wasn't by the armorer. He was handed the weapon by not the director, one of the producers was, I believe.
I thought it was the director or the assistant director.
His name was Dave or something. I think it might have been the assistant director.
Yes.
It wasn't the guy that was shot. No. That's all I know. Yeah. And so he was handed the weapon, not by the armorer, but by the assistant director. And whenever ABC asked other people in the film industry if that's normal, they say no. The armorer is the one that takes care of all of that. Right. And a lot of things were going on in the set that caused some union members to walk out and leave, saying it was unsafe work conditions. Alec Baldwin maintains that he never heard anything of unsafe work conditions. That's him saying that. We don't know if that's true or not.
And he also, to point out to that, Alec Baldwin said that when the weapon was handed to him, he was told it was a code gun, which means that it was not loaded. It was a safe weapon.
But he did not breach the chamber
to
check and see if there was anything in the chamber. No. And that was by George Clooney came out and made a testimony saying that that's not something better. Essentially, George Clooney lambasted Alec Baldwin for his negligence, saying that if you are an actor, you should damn well check the chamber before you ever handle a gun. Even if you're told it's cold, the responsibility is the person holding the weapon.
Yes.
And he felt he needed to make that comment.
Okay, so all right, yes. So is there anything else that you're wanting, or is that?
I believe that's all the contextual evidence I have, other than the thing that the crux of the argument for me is, where did those live rounds come from?
Well, I seen another article, and I could maybe dig for it or whatever, but I swear I remember saying that people on the staff or people on the staff of the movie, whatever, were taking these guns out and were just plinking. Now, one thing that I did read was the armorer's statement to the police. She stated that she had some trouble getting the gun loaded. She got 5 rounds in it, but was not able to get the 6th one in it
because the rounds were too big. They went in chamber.
So then they had a break. They broke for lunch. Okay, and then after lunch, she came back to the weapon.
Unsupervised weapons on a film set. Okay.
And then she was able to get a 6th round into the weapon, and then that's shortly after that is when they started doing this setting up the shot or whatever.
And I want to be clear about that too. I'm speculating that the weapons were left alone without supervision because of the lack of description in the article.
Yeah. So. Okay, so so all that's been in there.
Somebody could have walked over and put a live bullet in the fucking gun because no one was paying attention. That's the kind of incompetent shit we're dealing with here.
Okay, so that being said, here's my stance on this, or my position, rather, I guess, if you will. Okay. From a legal standpoint, possibly manslaughter. This is not a deal where it's first degree murder, premeditated, or anything like. This was an accidental discharge. This was not something done with malice or forethought. Okay.
No.
All right.
Well, we can't. Well, no, because
no.
Like I said, there's a murder investigation, and they're like very well. Like, here's a theory that could be a possibility in the ether of theories that could exist. The disgruntled workers who wanted more money that Alec was unwilling to give, and they walked off the set, could have put a live bullet in the gun.
Possibly, but okay, but that's.
I'm not saying that's.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just presenting an idea. It
Sure,
could be malice somewhere in this story. It could be a murder. You know, but we don't know.
But let's try to stick with what we know.
Sure.
Okay? All right. Right. So there could also be charges for reckless endangerment, discharge of a weapon, yada yada yada. Okay, that's the legal side. The legal side of things, right? Issue though, is the armor really? I mean, professionally, yeah, she's probably screwed and will never get a job again in that industry. But from a legal standpoint, is she screwed?
Could have been a ghost. Fuck off, Matt.
I mean, seriously, is she from a legal standpoint, does she bear any weight? Right. She did not hand the weapon to nobody. She didn't clear this weapon for anyone to say, use this weapon. Right?
It's weird because you would think an armorer would take their job seriously enough to go, I am the last line of defense. If something happens, it's on me. It's my responsibility.
Yeah.
But the person holding the gun has the responsibility. Like, so obviously Alec Baldwin picks up a gun, points it at somebody, and he's just been told it's empty. I mean, first of all, it's a revolver. It's an open revolver, right? See, wouldn't you like see the chamber and see that there's rounds on the sides in the chamber?
But the dummy rounds, the way that they're designed, from my understanding, they look
even if
like
there's dummy
bullets.
rounds, even if there's dummy rounds in the gun, that's not considered gold. It has to be completely empty to be considered gold. Am I wrong?
That I don't know. I can't speak to.
Okay, well, who knows?
Okay, what I will say is this. Okay?
That's what I'm saying. Zero core. Why wasn't the gun locked up while she was on said break? Yes, that's what I was saying. It was like,
maybe it was. We don't know. We don't.
That's
know.
the annoying part about these fucking vague articles. They're just like,
and
then she went to lunch.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. Yes. Okay. But here's what we do know. Okay.
It's a she.
We know that Alec Baldwin was handed this weapon by somebody who was not the armorer. Okay. Alec Baldwin did not conduct Gun Safety 101. Gun Safety 101 is you clear that weapon when it's handed to you, right? Now, here's where it gets a little interesting, because I actually had a conversation with somebody who has a direct connection to an armorer for movie and film. His statement to me was this, and this goes hand in hand with what Alex said, was when a armorer hands you the weapon, you're the artists, the actors, whatever, are not supposed to do anything to that weapon, because then if they fiddle with it, if they rack the slide, if it's a semi-automatic pistol, or if it is a revolver like this, if they do anything, then they have basically, for the lack of a better word, broken the chain of possession there, whatever, right, to ensure safety. Okay, and I get what he's saying, and I don't necessarily, if that was quote, but that doesn't seem to be like an industry standard, as I pointed out to him, because we have multiple actors who have come out now that have lambasted Alec Baldwin. You named one that's taken him to task, saying, no, you always clear that gun. And to me, that is Gun Safety 101. Someone hands you a weapon, you clear that gun. You clear if it's a rifle, you clear that breech. You make sure there's nothing in there. You eject the clip if it has a clip. Whatever. You rack it 2 or 3 times. If it doesn't have a clip and it's like a
I always do it 3. I always do it 3 times to check, just to make sure.
Right? You clear.
You're not seeing shit.
Exactly. You make sure that weapon. And then it's past that, the more important thing is you don't ever point it in directions of somebody
down or up.
Period. Now I understand with it when you're making a movie in Hollywood, and I understand there's certain angles that they want to be able to get, and I've seen multiple movies and stuff where when you have the bad guy or you have the good guy, whatever, and you're pointing down the barrel of a gun and they shoot, and all of a sudden, boom, the bullet comes out, twisting because of the rifling. Okay.
Right.
That's CGI shit. Okay.
Even if it's a blank, they were like point blank range, like it could be, I mean, still, you could still get injured by the fucking flash, like all the gunpowder and shit, you get burned.
All I'll say is this, as far as I'm concerned, here's my problem with Alec Baldwin on this. Alec Baldwin, says that he's not to blame. He says that he has no remorse.
Oh, hold up.
What?
You know what, Riv? Tara
What?
says, Riv, this probably should be handled as a workplace accident where the film company is charged and fined, and then new regulations are put in. Dude, the regulations were there. No offense, Tara, we love you, but you're missing the point.
Yeah.
They were ignoring them, and there were so many warning signs of disgruntled employees saying, hey, something bad's going to happen. Y'all need to stop. So, I mean, it's not the problem that there weren't regulations. The regulations were there. They were just ignored, which is something, people who are concerned about gun safety and think that firearms should be taken away from the public, maybe they should adhere to those regulations. But no, those don't apply to them because they don't, they don't care about that. But what were you saying? I'm sorry. Continue. I had to address that comment and had me fired up.
Yeah. But here's what I'll say to Tara, because Tara and I.
Oh yeah, he doesn't feel guilty. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. But to Tara's point, I want to address Tara's point.
I don't mean to be rude. Yeah.
Because Tara and I did have some lengthy conversation about this, and one thing I do agree with Tara on is this: if this is not currently being done, right, then this 100% needs to start being done, and that is this: anytime that there is a movie that is going to have weapons in it, okay, the actors who are going to be handling these weapons should 100% have some sort of certification card or something that shows that they have been through a certified weapon handling training, such as, where this type of stuff is covered as far as how to clean, how to clear a weapon, how, that gun safety 101 type stuff. That should be a mandated, required thing that is regulated and by the government, and they should have to be required to do that. Now, to address what I just said, he has no remorse, right? Maybe I misspoke a little bit.
Tara, there wasn't even an ambulance on set. There wasn't even an ambulance on standby. They had to care flight that chick out of there.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. I don't know if there was actually any type of medical EMT, anything like that on set either. That's not been clear or made clear either. One would hope that there would be. One would hope there would. Out. Yeah. So I want to bring up something here, and this is being reported by The Hill. Alec Baldwin says he doesn't feel guilty on the shooting death of a cinematographer on the set, Russ, because someone else is responsible. He feels zero guilt.
Well,
there it is.
Dude, he has to say that because it could be used against him in court of law if he says I feel guilty about it. That's the only reason he's saying it that way. I mean, sure, he could very well be a sociopath and be like, I don't feel guilty about it whatsoever. But he has to this is kind of misleading, I think, because if he's possibly facing a trial or a civil suit and they pull up an interview of him saying I feel guilty, then boom, out of court.
All right, so here's a Twitter put out by ABC. Okay, let me pause this here for a second.
He's an actor. He's a sociopath. All right, Joey.
Okay, so let me pull this up here. Hang on. So this is a little excerpt from ABC. You see right here, it's ABC's Twitter feed, right? So this is from them. So if this clip is taken out of context, by God, take it up with ABC. But here's what it says. Listen to this.
Your emotions are so clearly so right there on the surface.
Call in, Matt.
You felt shock. You felt anger. You felt sadness. Do you feel guilt?
No. I feel that there is. I feel that someone is responsible for what happened, and I can't say who that is, but I know it's not me.
Baldwin now awaiting the outcome of.
Okay, I'm sorry. Y'all are putting me in a spot I don't want to be, which is defending Alec Baldwin. I really don't like the guy. But y'all are saying stuff like, just remember what he said to his fucking dog. That has nothing to do with this. I mean, he may be a piece of shit in all actuality and a horrible person. It doesn't mean he's a murderer. I mean, he committed manslaughter for sure by negligence, but with malice, and he like intended to, and he just doesn't care about what happened, and you know, he hates the kids and all that stuff. That kind of, no. I mean, that's ridiculous. No, he's covering his ass with legal language for sure. But I mean, to suggest otherwise is kind of silly, I think. Am I wrong, Riveter?
I agree. He is definitely talking from a point of where he's trying to make sure that, because there's already been, I think, a couple civil cases that have already been filed against him and against the movie company. Now, one of the things I want to
fair enough.
Kind of loop in here. Tara says, that's why I'm saying the film company should be held responsible for the state of the work site and not providing the correct resources.
But here's the thing, Tara. Here's the thing. It's an independent film, and the producers are people like Alec Baldwin who set the standard for how things are going on the film set.
Yep.
So you see the kind of clusterfuck we have here.
You know, the thing of it is to kind of
and then I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you. I apologize, but I'm heated within the throes of passion.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
No, but he even goes on the interview, and you can watch the whole thing. You can call me out if I'm wrong, which I'm not, because I remember I watched it like 3 times in preparation for today. But anyways, he in the interview talks about how the union workers who walked off the set, they were asking for better hotel rooms, better accommodations, and stuff. And he said, I would have paid them, but they already left and stuff like that. It's like, well, I don't give a shit about what you would have done. It's like, why didn't you just pay them the more money that they needed to, you know, provide a safe work environment or whatever, you know, whatever they felt they needed,
all right,
you know, stuff like that.
All right. So I was fixed to go back and touch on that. And you're correct. You're correct. Just fine. You're correct. He said his statement is the only thing that they were upset about was that the hotel rooms and stuff were not big enough. Now, I don't know what that means, but he went on to say that he said, you know, I've done this.
Alex saying that's the only thing that they complained about.
And he went on to say that he had done this in previous movie sets where he'd give back part of his salary back into, you know, the production, whatever, he said, we'll look at getting maybe like a bed and breakfast or something like that, right?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, that's what he said in the interview. That's what he said. Okay.
Oh, you can say it all he wants, but I need evidence, Jack.
But here's what he said. He said when he went to the set the next morning, they were already gone. So before he even was able to do anything, they left. They left.
That sounds like my football coach that was telling me he was going to move me to varsity when I was going to quit. He's like, "Oh, you're quitting football? I was just about to move you to varsity." I'm like, "No, you weren't."
Well, okay. So
you want to make me feel bad out the door is what you want.
Sure. Here's the deal. So give the devil his due.
Yeah.
Alec could have been telling the truth, and it could have happened just that way. All right. But here's the thing. Right now we have so many different things that are being bubbled out, right? And so I was trying to focus mainly on what was presented in this interview, right? And I was not trying, because there's so much. And there's a lot of people saying stuff, whatever else, and we don't know, are they just saying it for the sake of saying it? I personally wanted to try to stick to just what Alec Baldwin was saying in this interview, period. Right? His words, use his words. Now,
this whole thing is damage control too, because I mean, the fucking production value with all the music and the Jesus Christ, like, for what it's worth, I didn't see a tear on the guy's face when he was crying. So, I mean, he may be emotionally fucked, but watch it. But look at his face.
Okay, but Tara says that he should be held responsible, and he's correct. Tara's correct.
He's gonna probably.
And he is, yes, because in the lawsuits so far that have been filed, and I think there's 2 that's been filed so far. And by the way, the lawsuits that have been filed are not the people that had loss of life or were shot. Okay, these are other people on the set that witnessed this, and because of the trauma, the emotional trauma, psychological trauma that was inflicted upon them, has had to get, psychological help stuff. And so they're suing because of that stuff. And they're, suing, they're trying to recoup for that.
But the thing that makes me think he's such a dickhead about this is he shoves it in the door at the last part of the interview. You can go back and watch.
Yeah.
At the last part of the interview, he's like, I'm never going to work with guns again. It's like, well, that's the inappropriate response, because now you're just doubling down on the gun control thing you've been harping on for the entirety of your life.
Is that what he says, or does he say, he goes, I don't think I'll ever do another movie with guns?
Probably what you said.
I think it was more along the lines of, I don't think I'll ever do another movie.
It just felt like he was shooing that in, though, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Sure. And it's
like, that's not the problem, jackass. It was your negligence. You didn't check the fucking gun. And then you blamed everyone around you, saying it was their fault. And it might have been their fault, but it was also yours.
Well,
take some accountability.
So where I stand at is this, okay?
Yeah.
From a legal standpoint, honestly, at this point, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. Can they go after the armorer? I don't know, because she's not the one that said, hey, use this weapon. We don't know where the weapon was grabbed from. We don't know. All we know is
we know that she wasn't there. We know that the assistant producer or director, that guy, we figured his name at the moment.
Whoever it was, handed Alec the gun.
And he was handling weapons for some reason, which he shouldn't have been.
Okay. So that right there, to me, just as a layman, kind of seems like, to me, it kind of gets her out of the hot seat, right?
No, it doesn't, because she was supposed to be in control and visibility of. She was supposed to see the guns the entire time. They shouldn't have been out of her hands. Okay, so unless she was there supervising. And not only that, dude. Another thing, not for nothing. Alec Baldwin goes on in this interview at one point to talk about all the great actors he worked with and how he loves movies and how much he enjoys movies and he misses working with good actors. And that's when he actually seems emotional. It's kind of fucked up. But go ahead.
But anyway, so yes, she was responsible. I'm not arguing that. But that's not to say that this person had access to those weapons as well. Because again, as you brought up, we don't know if they were being kept under lock and key.
That's zero course. Yeah, that's a good point.
And maybe they were. Maybe this guy had a key for what, because he's the quote assistant producer. We don't know. There's too many unknown variables.
It's messy as fuck. And we still need any more details. For instance, the biggest detail for me is, where the fuck did those live rounds come from?
Yeah.
That's the kicker. Because the manufacturer of bullets that were sending prop bullets to the set, they were 100% certain. And they may just be avoiding liability. May have been a guy snoozing at the wheel whenever they were checking those bullets. But the guy, assures there was no live rounds sent to that film set. So where did they come from?
Here's something else I want to point out too. And we covered this when this story first broke. This young lady who's like 21 years of age, who was the armorer for this movie, had just wrapped up a movie that she had done where she was armorer there as well. And it starred Nicolas Cage. And on that movie set, she handed a loaded weapon to an 11-year-old kid, right?
Nope, not true. The further context to that story was that the barrel was not clear. It had blanks in it, but there was stuff lodged into the barrel.
Okay,
where it would have been
okay, so that's a loaded weapon, because that's exactly how Brandon Lee passed away during the shooting of the Crow, making of the Crow.
Yes, and luckily nobody was hurt in that incident. I don't believe so. I don't believe anyone was hurt.
So that just goes to show that this young lady was not
grossly incompetent.
She did not have enough time underneath her belt to be the lead armorer on a movie. Even a, whatever these things are called, was
low budget indie film.
There you go.
$5-10 million.
Okay. But here's something that Stephanie, and I agree with what Stephanie says. Stephanie says, even if she's not criminally responsible, she will never work in her field again, and Alec will.
Well, they're trying to make this girl a scapegoat, and maybe she deserves it.
Sure.
It seems too convenient that they hired the most incompetent person there. I'm a tinfoil hat, but I'm just saying.
Well, but here's the thing too, right? And that's what I want to point out is
Easy Patsy.
she's probably going to be, yes, the Patsy, the scapegoat, but Alec will go on to still act and star. And,
I hope not.
Well, he will. Even better, because you could say that here's the thing. You can say that he's saying it for damage control, for legal reasons or whatever. But with his facial expressions and the mannerism and tone that he said that, guy, I'm telling you, he truly does not feel guilty. And if you don't feel guilty, then there's no remorse. You cannot have guilt without remorse. That's just, I'm sorry, you can't. And so to me,
You mean you can't have remorse without guilt?
yes.
I don't know. I mean, I could feel bad about something, but not feel responsible for doing it. Like I feel bad that the things that led up to. Okay. I can see how you could feel bad about her.
Okay, you can feel sad about a situation, but having remorse and guilt is too. But remorse,
he can't say it.
What?
He can't say that he feels guilty in any sense of the word because it's going to make him liable for damages or some kind of legal action.
I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that at all. What I'm saying is if you listen to when he said that, you listen to the tone in his voice, if you look at his facial expressions, if you listen to the cadence in which he said it, I'm telling you, when he says he does not feel guilty because he believes that. He believes there's no guilt there.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. And so if he doesn't feel guilty, then he
genuinely doesn't think he did anything wrong.
He has no remorse. There's no remorse. That's
because
all I'm saying.
He literally doesn't believe that he did anything wrong, but he did. But he just doesn't believe it. Gotcha.
Okay, so Tara has a question. He goes, do you think it should be every actor ultimately personally responsible for their weapons on the set or the armor?
Both.
100% both.
The armorer is the middle to first line of defense, and the actor holding the weapon is the last line of defense.
Exactly. 100%.
Everyone holding a gun is responsible for what happens
with that weapon. Exactly.
Yes. You put your hands on it, you better be damn sure what's going on with it.
Yes. Banana and I are in agreement on that one. I believe that this young woman is going to be, and here's the thing about it too, right?
Mm-hmm.
She emotionally is probably devastated.
Oh, probably. I mean, she's naive.
She's young.
Yeah. Right? The person who shouldn't be naive is Alec Baldwin. He's old as fuck, and he's done multiple movies before.
That's my whole point. You know,
cutting corners.
And this is one of the things that just drives me freaking insane. When you have a person like Alec Baldwin, and this is where I'm going to get in my bias. When you have a person like Alec Baldwin who has a mindset of against Second Amendment and gun ownership by individual citizens here in the U.S., okay? And he's anti-Second Amendment, he's anti-gun, okay? And then he goes on to these movie sets where he's handling guns and he's involved in scenes where it is displaying violence against other humans, okay? That to me is so freaking hypocritical that it just astounds me.
It is. It's beyond intellectually dishonest. It's going into a new realm of lying. I mean, you know, Tara, I don't know what a gun safety license is. I'm from Texas, where now you don't even have to have a concealed handgun license to carry a firearm. So beats me, dude.
Yeah, they're okay. So here in Arkansas, Banana's from Texas. Here in Arkansas,
we are born with a gun in our hands here.
Basically, the way the laws are written here in Arkansas is you can openly carry a firearm, and what that means is if you have a rifle slung over your shoulder, you can walk down the street, without any problems.
Max style.
If you can walk down the street and you can have a pistol in a holster on your side, but you cannot have your shirt over it or anything like that. It has to be fully exposed and viewable to the people around you. If you have it like sometimes there's different kinds of holsters. Like there's ones that'll go inside of your against your skin of your belt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's concealed. There's ones they can wear down around their ankle where their britches leg will go over it. That's concealed. But and so unless you have a conceal and carry, which is a license you can get, which requires you to take more thorough training, okay, you can get what's called a conceal and carry. With a conceal and carry, you can carry a weapon on you, and you do not have. It can be hidden. It cannot. It doesn't have to be viewable.
It can't be viewable.
It cannot be viewable. That's correct.
Here's the thing I want to point out with the safety courses and stuff, and I'm sorry, I'll let you continue just a second.
Yeah.
They aren't necessary for people who have parents who teach them proper gun safety. The people who need the safety courses are liberals. The people who hate guns. The people, I mean, there are gun-toting liberals too, don't get me wrong, but the people who hate guns and stuff, those are the people that need the safety gun courses because they don't know anything about firearms. They're scared of them. But the people who are born and raised with firearms, they aren't scared of them. They know about firearms and they respect them.
But let's also go another step too. There are some right wingers who are pro gun that have guns out there have no damn business because they don't know.
Oh yeah, there's some dumbass redneck that'll shoot you.
Okay, so we'll just put that out there too.
Yeah, fair enough. I was pretty one-sided there, but I really hate the fucking, the aristocratic, holier than thou, liberals that like go, oh, we're so above it, we don't even need to, it's ridiculous.
So Tara says, so if you're raised in an anti-gun household and you decide you want a gun, you know nothing about weapons, you can just wander into a Walmart and buy one?
Yes.
Yes and no.
Well, in Texas, if you don't have the CHL, you have to do a bunch of work. So if you don't have your handgun license, which it's not a CHL anymore, it's just a license to carry LHC classes. If you haven't done any of the LHC stuff, you're going to have to do a ton of background check and wait periods and stuff like that to get your gun registered and sent to you. So like, I don't know, it's like a month or 2 weeks.
I'm not for sure.
Anyways, it's a lot more. It's a lot more work than if you have the LHC, which is the courses.
And it's the same.
No
thing.
offense. Yeah, I'm just biased.
It's the same. It's the same thing here in Arkansas. If you have your concealed carry, which means you've already done the background check, you've been fingerprinted, all that kind of stuff, it expedites you being able to buy a weapon. Okay, but it also means you've also received training, which means you actually have to go and you have to shoot with a certain proficiency with a weapon. Okay, so that you can get that license. But if you don't, you can go. The only thing is you have to be 18 or older to be able to purchase a rifle or a shotgun. And you have to be over 21 to purchase, I believe it is, to purchase a pistol. But
Terry, you're killing me. Just calling you.
Yes, there are safety courses okay. But like, for example, I don't know about Texas, but here in Arkansas, there is anyone who was born after the year 1968 and they decide they want to be a hunter, they have to take what is hunter. They call it hunter's ed. And in that, you get basic introduction to the laws and stuff of hunter as far as hunting regulations. But then you also get gun safety as well. So
that's called authoritarianism.
Yeah,
I don't need no damn classes.
But anyway, so here in Arkansas, yes, if you're born after the year 1968, you have to do all that to get a hunting license or to get your hunting license. But no, you can't just walk in and buy. And here's the thing, another little thing. A lot of your retail stores, such as Walmart, things like that, have quit carrying pistols, and all you can get is like shotguns or rifles.
Yeah, like 30-06 or something.
Yeah, and it's just regular like hunting rifles or shotguns. It's not any of your quote the bad ones like the AR-15s and things like that. They don't carry anything like that. They just carry your regular
blood pressure.
I know. To get those type of things, you have to actually go to a gun shop or a
gun show.
Yeah,
the back door gun show. You go out behind the dumpster. Give me a lot of cash. I'll give you. I'm going to saw it off.
But yeah, see, that's a lot of things that people I think really understand, And they try to say, oh, there's these loopholes, there's this, there's that. No, there's a waiting period. Unless you've already basically went through everything and you've got your conceal and carry stuff, it means you've already passed all the background checks and stuff, and you can just purchase because you've basically pre-registered, if you will, to purchase firearms.
It's a lot faster.
But to have that, you have to go through gun safety. You have to be proficient in firing with a weapon. It's not just, so there's a lot of misnomers put out there talking about, I can just walk in here and I can buy an AR-15 with a 30-round clip and go in and just start blowing people away. No, that shit don't happen. That's not how it works at all.
That's not how it works at all. It takes for fuck ever.
Yeah. And
it costs money too. It's like $200, $300 for your fucking LHC.
Yeah. It's quite costly to get all
Ash is and you get a tax stamp on your AR-15 or some shit like that.
So anyway.
And then you have AR-15 pistols, where that's a whole other thing. The short barrel AR, that stuff. Oh, it's actually a sidearm.
Yeah.
Right. Then now they have the sawed-off shotguns that aren't technically shotguns.
Yeah.
You got some rednecks bending the laws of the ATF have out there.
Okay.
Anyway,
so guys, I'm gonna have to wrap it up. I've been given the look
cardio
by the wife, so we're going to wrap this up. I appreciate you guys all hanging with us tonight. Hopefully we maybe may shed some light on some of these stories. If nothing else, maybe we got you thinking, engaging about some of the stuff. And as always research. Do your own research. Just don't take what I'm saying or Banana's saying as the gospel.
Yeah, we're stupid.
Yeah. So
go do your own research.
Well, I'm not stupid.
I think I'm pretty dumb.
But anyway, and normally I have a little thing when I sign off, but I was given a lot of grief about it.
Keep it in the funny papers, man.
So anyway, I'm going to come up with a new colloquialism.
Don't let Dave get you down. Come on now.
But anyway, as always, we appreciate you guys being here. And also again, I'm gonna say this again as in the tail end of the show. As a personal favor to me, if you could share out the channel, if we could get to 100 subs before the end of the year, it would tickle me to death. And if we can get to 100 subs, Banana and I will do something special. I'm not for sure exactly what we will do, but we will come up with something to celebrate.
Riveter will
you
dab
guys.
on camera and do the nay-nay. There you go. Do a dance.
No, Banana will not. No, Riv will not do the nay-nay and Banana and whatever the hell he said. I'm not going to do that. But anyway, we'll do something to commemorate that and to celebrate that with you guys. And but until then, make sure that you guys are being not being naughty, but let's be nice, because old St. Nicholas, he's got his list and he's checking it twice this time of the year, and I don't want any of you guys winding up with chunks of coal in your stockings. So anyway, Banana, do you have anything that you'd like to share with them before we get out of here tonight?
Nope. I hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Oh, great. We just lost a sub, Banana, because of you.
Yeah, I'll dab some more. I'll dab 75 times. We'll start over. It's a whole new year.
Jesus. Anyway, as like I said, we really appreciate you guys. We love that you hung out with us today. But no, we'll be no damn mud wrestling, because the last thing you want to do is see these old saggy man boobs flopping around everywhere. I guarantee that's the last thing you want. But anyway, until then, guys, listen, remember, keep your powder dry, and we'll see you in the funny papers.